Welcome to the 3Gen podcast. We are three generations of
Life,
love,
and legacy.
and we're hoping to foster meaningful conversations that bridge generational gaps, sharing diverse perspectives and experiences to promote understanding, empathy, and connections across different age groups.
we are three generations of life.
Love,
And legacy. Welcome back to the 3Gen podcast. I am Raven,
I'm Miss Al.
and I am Pearl.
and we are the
3Gen
3Gen podcast.
Podcast.
Oh, we got it
We
right.
did.
When that was spontaneous. Now, when we be practicing, y'all ain't never on key.
Never.
But we got it right
Hey.
that time. How are you ladies doing today?
Tantalizing.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yourself?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm doing good.
Let's get this
Nothing
show
to
on the
complain
road.
about. I'm blessed, highly favored, amazing support group, and just
Oh,
amazing
you do have an
community.
amazing support group. Now that much is true. You
All the
are
way
blessed
around.
and you are highly favored. So we all are. So God is good.
We are. Well, before we get started, I would like to give a shout out to one of my best friends, Lanisha Hall. She gave us these cards, and they are
Yes.
podcast cards. So now we don't have to keep flicking through our notes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Nene.
Nene.
We love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for following and watching.
Shout out to you, Lanisha. We appreciate it. Love you,
Yes.
girl.
Love, love, love.
So,
Okay. Hot topic.
hot topic. Well,
Let's get into it.
okay. Well, the hot topic for this week, I would like to discuss with you all. Have you all seen the recent, I guess, pull up? Because that's what I would call it. How Stephen A. Smith came up. No, LeBron
James.
Yes, LeBron James came up to Stephen A. Smith at I believe it was a basketball game, the Lakers
was.
game,
Yes,
It
yes.
was.
about talking about his son, Bronny James.
I did.
Yes, yes.
What do you all make of that? And do you feel that he kind of escalated a situation that wasn't so major? I believe he told, I don't know for sure, but I think Stephen A. Smith said that he said something along the line of, don't talk about my son.
Keep my son name
Out
out
your
your
mouth.
That's what LeBron James said.
Uh-huh.
Keep my son name out of your mouth. But
Mhm.
Stevie J.
Stephen
A.
A.
Smith.
Steve A. Smith.
Uh-huh.
His whole thing was he don't think that LeBron's son is ready for the NBA. And he said he should accept that. But I'm with LeBron because he's coming from a father's place.
Okay, what do you think, Mom?
Well, I'm not a big fan of Stephen A. Smith, so my opinion may be a little biased, and I don't like him because he stay on our behind about the Cowboys. He always got something to say about my Cowboys.
We
so
talking about basketball.
I ain't got nothing to say about him.
You
But
gonna throw
I
these
do-
Cowboys in there
Yes,
somehow,
because
some
he
way.
stay on the, he always loudmouth, over talking everybody. Always got something to say, little man syndrome. Hey, stay in your lane. But that's how he make his money, so I ain't mad about that. So I feel two different ways about it. I feel like he's doing his commentary. He's does his research. That's how he makes his money, by critiquing what's going on in the NBA.
Mhm.
I do feel like there's a line, and he kind of even said himself that he understands that he didn't come at him as a basketball player or as a teammate. He came at him as a father to his son.
Mhm.
I do think Bronny
About
get
his
a
son.
lot of criticism. And I know that that's a lot of pressure on him to have to play behind his father or to live up to what his father has done. But from LeBron's standpoint, he ain't wrong. I think you provide opportunities and gateways and leadways to your children. People do it all the time. Others have done it for years. And if he's able to put his child on that platform, and I do feel that he does have some skills. He's young. Yes, they have to be developed, but I think he does play better than some other people that are in the NBA. So, I'm with him. Just find something else to talk about.
Well, it's his job to talk about and analyze the players.
Sometimes you
And-
cross the line.
Well, I think that Stephen A. Smith has always been a radical talker when it comes to sports. Like you said, he won't even stay off the Cowboys. So I don't think that you should draw the line when it comes to your child. If this is this man's career, his job, and he always does this. It doesn't matter who it is.
Keep
He's
it
not.
about the game, then. Don't
What
go,
did he?
don't.
It wasn't
I think
about the
it got a
game.
little
Well,
personal.
it was about his son.
Yeah, it was
He don't
about
think he's
him
ready
His
to
son
play.
playing
and his
basketball.
privilege of
Yeah.
only being there because it's LeBron. Keep it about the game.
Keep
Keep
it
it
about
on
the
the
game.
I think
stats.
that-
Keep it on the stats. Keep
But
it on
I
how many
think that
made
he
and missed.
addressed what everyone is saying.
I wasn't saying it. I'm with
Everybody
him.
else has been saying
No.
that.
I'm with
That's
him.
all I've
I
been
am with him.
hearing.
He can learn just like everybody else.
He
A lot-
knows the game. He
Yeah,
plays
he-
well.
Does he play NBA level well?
Half of them sitting on the bench probably
I
don't
think
play
I was about to say the
NBA.
same thing.
but,
How many people you know on a team? Be honest.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Okay.
but he has
so-
plenty of time to grow. He's young.
Well,
And,
didn't he get moved to the G League?
You don't say anything
I
about
think
Deion
that's when he
Sanders'
started. He's to
sons
and
playing
from.
with him.
Because they actually are good.
But he's trying to front. But I think Bron is good too.
I
LeBron
think
is
Bron
not
is
the
good.
coach. They've made that investment in him. They didn't bring him in and make him start ahead of everybody else. They didn't give him any type of favor in that matter.
developing.
He's got to earn his spot.
Well, we're not really discussing Bronny. We're talking about LeBron taking it outside the game, and now you're gonna go
Because
confront.
Inside the
because
game.
you
You're
take it
gonna
outside
go
the game.
confront someone about, and then
Yes.
what if that?
What you gonna say?
Because okay,
Get
what if
what
that
you're
would have turned
saying.
into something else? What if Stephen A.
Let
would have
it
got
be.
big and
Let
bad?
it
So
be.
you're
See,
gonna
he
fight
can't
about
never get
it?
big.
And
He
he
will
can
never be able to get big.
And he can report on that.
Yeah, he ain't gonna report on that.
Report
Exactly.
on that. That's
He will
part
never
of
be
it.
able to get big.
Mhm.
And
Oh, my
LeBron went to
God.
him and looked down at him. Keep my son
Name out of your mouth.
beat mouth.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I mean that.
All right. I mean,
And I think it worked.
It did.
Well, I
He-
don't know, because this is one thing too. I was with Stephen A. Smith about, you didn't have to pull up on me and confront me like that. I just feel like, let's keep it professional. If you want me to keep it professional, why are you trying to come at me at a game, after your game, about your son when I'm just doing my job? But then Stephen A., I don't know. I feel like you looked a little weak, because now you saying, well, at first he was like, I understand as a father, I get it. Then the next day, well, that same night,
Well,
he
first
went-
of all, I don't think that was their first run-in. He said, too, in his apology, LeBron and I are not friends.
Mhm.
Even if we see each other, we may speak, we may not. It's like throw your hand up and keep it moving. So already there's no professional mutual respect there. So it's already that I don't fool with you
Mhm.
already. And then every time I turn around, you got a lot of shit to talk about, but you seem to want to only talk about this every day. This what you
But I think okay, let's think about it like this. LeBron James' son, LeBron James is one of the best players in the NBA, son. It doesn't even matter if he was good or not. Coming into the league, that's going to be on everybody's schedule to talk about.
But
Nobody is not going to
it's
talk
like
about
it's
this.
the first time that this has ever happened.
When else has it happened?
Doc Rivers' son played for him forever.
But
was not the
LeBron
best-
James
was
is the
not the
best
best player on
player
the
in the
team, but he got
NBA.
playing
And he
time.
kept him out there.
And he kept him out there. He got playing time.
He kept him out there. He sure did. He kept him
Tell him
out
to
there.
come on.
He
Talk to
done
me.
got good playing time. He done got a good contract and done
Done
got a
made-
wife.
and done made
Was
Come on
Doc
money.
now.
Rivers a player?
Yeah, he played
Yeah.
ball. Then he was the head coach. and
I know he
coaching
was a
his
coach,
son,
but I'm
yeah.
saying, was he a
He
player?
was
Yes,
a basketball
yes.
player.
'Cause I
Very
didn't know.
good.
I didn't know. I know he was a coach, though.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I just
And
think
there's so
he's
many
not the only
people that
one.
you don't know of whose son played for the team and their dad is a former player,
That's
but
right.
they in the general office, or they the GM of the team, or they
That's
this or they
right.
that.
That's right.
Leave LeBron alone. Do your thing. The next year, let Bryce play too.
All right, let everybody get in.
Let everybody make some money.
okay. Well, there you have it.
There you have it.
Well, that kind of leads into our discussion for today. Nepotism. Nepotism is what we will be discussing today. How do you all feel about nepotism? I think I pretty much already got an idea. Y'all put everybody on, huh?
Well,
No.
Do you all know? Well, do you all know what nepotism is?
I
we do. We
The
do.
granting of opportunities based on family connections and
Friendships,
friendships.
familiarity,
Mhm.
favor. It's
Yeah.
favor.
Okay.
I'm all about nepotism.
Really?
I think-
Yes, I am.
If the person is capable,
Mhm.
I think that it's a disservice if you put someone in a position that they don't have the capacity to fill those shoes or to fill the role. But it's not a problem to me if the person has the skill set, the person has put in the work, has put in the time, and you're able to help someone, or you're able to give someone a helping hand or put them in a place where they can succeed, then that's not nepotism to me. I think the true definition is when you do it as a favor and that person does not have the skill set or can't fill those shoes.
Well, no, that's just when you do it in general. I think when you do it as a favor, it's more frowned upon. But nepotism in general is putting whether they qualified or not, putting them in a position to where they are.
See, I look at it as a little different. I may have my own definition. I
Yeah.
think that for me, nepotism would be that I hired my friend as opposed to a candidate that had the skill set or had all the qualifications, but instead I hired my friend who doesn't have the qualifications and we got to train from ground up. To me, that would be nepotism because I
That's
hired her
nepotism,
because
too.
she's my
It could
friend.
go
But
either
then,
way.
if you hire her because she's your friend, but she's qualified, but then you interviewed everybody else knowing they're not gonna get the job because my friend applying, that's nepotism. It's like either way, even if she is qualified, that's still nepotism.
So I
And
think
nepotism can go a long ways now.
It
You
does.
got family dynamics where generational wealth. That's nepotism because
Mhm.
the money has been generated down from. I mean,
And
the
we gonna
Kennedy
keep it in
family,
the
and they're gonna
family,
keep
right.
it in the family.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know why it's been going on forever, and I'm all about it. If you come for a job and somebody else come, I'm favoring you.
Even if I'm not qualified.
Well, you have a college degree, you can get there.
And I think that's where I stand with it as well. Like with my mom. Well, I don't know, because you saying that you would hire somebody still if they're not qualified.
no, you gotta be qualified. You
I
ain't
think
gonna make
that's
me
where-
look crazy.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
what
that's
you're
where
not
I
gonna
stand
do.
with it as well. But then I think that when it comes down to it, if you know that you're passing along the rights or you're passing along the passage to someone coming on, teach them, train them, build them up to be prepared for it. Because I see so often a lot of people just hand it down and they're just like, okay, you got it now. But you raised this child, they've grown up with you,
You've
and they
never
don't
taught
even
the
know.
family business,
You don't
then
know
you
the
shouldn't
family
pass it
business. You
on,
don't know the
right.
steps. And then when you pass on, it just goes down the drain. And it's so many other qualified people that can carry it.
It's like it's a double-edged sword, and it's a win-lose situation because people call it nepotism when the person is qualified, and it's like, well, we know that's going to her daughter, or that's going to her son or to her friend. But
Mhm.
those people have worked together and put the work in. You've taught them the family business, or you've taught them to be your successor. Because a lot of people in powerful positions train their successors,
That's right.
Mhm.
to move on. But then it's also when you have someone that is in your family and you have a family business that's been in your family for generations and no one under your generation wants to learn it or no one wants to carry it on
Then
or
it
no
goes,
one
it just
so
go out
then-
of business.
But do they have to?
and not if that's not
that's,
their
I
interest.
not your dream. That's their dream.
That's
but,
my point. So
But
why force them to
generational
do it?
wealth. I mean,
I don't think it's
I think that that's
forcing them
when
to
it
do,
goes
it's
down.
expectations, yeah, because
When
if your
a lot
heart
of
is not
foreign
in
countries, when the fathers or the mother work certain jobs, when they're done, those jobs go to the kids.
Okay.
It's expected. And I know
you, that ain't
since
just
I
foreign
moved to
countries, that
my
happened here.
when I moved to my little small town, it was a big thing about the president giving his son his position. How do you do that?
Mhm.
This is a corporation. It doesn't belong to the father, it doesn't belong to the son. But he literally passed his job to his son.
Right. And that's wrong.
That is wrong,
So
And
it's
you
a-
see a town being named after a family. Why? Nepotism. It just everything has been passed down to that family.
So I'm a little confused now, Ms. L, because you were in agreement with it at first, but now
I
you're
am
saying
in
it's not
I
fair.
am totally in agreement.
But you're saying it's not fair.
I don't listen. Not a corporation. Now your business, you do it. You give it to who you want, but not a corporation.
Not that you paying into
Not when I'm paying into it. See, that's where the stuff go wrong at.
Well, I
But-
think that is kind of what people are feeling with LeBron and Bronny. The Lakers
so?
is not your business. So how can you?
And he didn't do the hiring.
But we know he has some say so.
So that means he's a major stakeholder in the
Nah.
business.
But it's
That-
not.
It's not his business. So that means that they value him, they appreciate him, and they want him happy. And I ain't mad at him.
Okay.
And that extended his
Well,
contract. He probably
And
could
that
have
means
retired.
that whoever, and he made it very clear, I want to play with my son. Whoever
History.
hire my son, that's where I'm going.
That's where I'm
and
going.
the Lakers want to keep their MVP player, so they hire Bron as to sit, do whatever, carry this water, do whatever I need you to do, but I need him to stay here.
So what's the problem?
I guess nothing. I don't know. So let's talk about nepotism in comparison to family support and
Okay.
how they kind of weigh hand in hand but can differ in a sense, and how it can bring resentment, jealousy, envy from others. Do you all ever feel that way?
You got to help me when you say family support and nepotism. Support is one thing. Nepotism, you say, is hiring or putting people in position for
Positions to win.
favor.
Yeah.
So unless it's a family business, family and business don't really
Well,
go
not
well
necessarily
together.
business. Let's just talk about in life in general. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. For me, I have a very good family support system.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just raised off of family, being family oriented. When one's down, we help. If we all up, we up. When I went to college, I met so many people who didn't have that support system or weren't really raised that way. We became friends, or I befriended some of them, and it just always was like, well, you could do that because you got your mama to fall back on, where you could do that. But is that my fault that I have a support system? And I feel like, well, I have noticed a lot of times people don't really play off of that because they don't want to be labeled as, I didn't get it on my own, my family helped me. I don't mind because I know everybody needs support. It takes a village, but I've seen people hold themselves back because they don't want to have the stigma of saying that they didn't get it on their own. And a lot of people play off of that too.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That's the definition of foolishness. I
Hmm.
think that um, support is essential, and we all need support, be it from our blood family or our family that we make and we love, and God sends along the way. I think
Hmm.
that we have to be susceptible and open ourselves up to support and to walk away from it because you're trying to do it on your own. It's just turning down your blessings and your lifelines. That's like the old folk tale where it was like, we out here, God sent you a life jacket, God sent you a boat, God sent you this, and all of them you saying, no, I'm waiting on God. He done sent you three helpmates and you done turned all of them away. What you doing?
I've never
I mean,
heard that, but I like that expression. I've never
I ain't
heard
quite got it right, but
Oh, okay. I gotta go look that up.
we ain't looking. I ain't quite got it right,
I have to go look that up.
but Tara.
Hmm.
But I mean, you can't support, and I do feel like some people, it's like, oh, well, you got a different relationship with your mom. You wouldn't understand. You have this, and that is true. I understand everybody's relationships and everybody's history, everybody's childhood, everybody's upbringing may
Hmm.
be different. Some people are close, some people are not. Some people have some traumatic experiences that went on in childhood. But I think as you grow into adulthood or you matriculate in your maturity, then you have to realize what those relationships are and who are the people that are in your corner and use them accordingly.
Hmm.
So,
Well, now, I've noticed that a lot of people, particularly in the small towns, well, my child's going to school, but I told them don't come back here. Well, how are things going to change if that child gets an education, a college degree, and moves to Chicago? He or she's going to be a contributor to society. Why come they can't contribute to the same thing in this small town? Because otherwise, you're not going to grow.
Hmm.
well, I can answer that for you.
Well, I'm just saying now because if everybody leave and wait until they're retired to come back, nothing is going to change. You can't say, well, nothing's going to change because all your education and everything has gone on. But on the other side now, they all come back. Oh, Dorothy is going to be working in the office, and Dorothy started her own law practice. Why come Janita Nay can't come back? Janita Nay can't come back. Nay can't come back and do the same thing. And everybody said, well, she can't make that kind of money. Well, she might not need that kind of money in this small town.
I
She
think
needed.
that you got to go to grow first of all, and I'm not
You went to
against
college.
coming
You
back
growed.
to. I'm not against coming back to small towns, but opportunities don't always present themselves, and the mindset in
The
small
mindset has been
towns
set because you've
is a
been
little
told
different.
don't come back.
No, I'm saying even when you try to come back, the
Hmm. They're not
mindset
accepting.
is not really. The mindset is different in the business world in small towns, and It's the haves and have-nots. I
Exactly.
hate to say it like that, but that's
It's
exactly what
it's
it
like a
is.
slice
And
of
I
pie.
don't
It
care.
got 8 slices, and we got 2 slices, and the other 6 slices goes elsewhere. I agree with you on that. But at the
These
same
analogies
time,
But
today.
when is it gonna change? Now, if I tell someone, "Oh, I'm doing a podcast," in Cairo,
you know how it's going to change? Nepotism.
Yep.
but if you've told the people don't come back, I like the nepotism thing. But then you have people say, "Well, that's their dream. That's not my
Well,
dream."
they have to come back and be provided opportunities. Just how you said, what her name, Dorothy coming back, but she's opening up a law firm. Okay, but then let's say if I try to come back, but then I'm going door to door saying, "Hey, I want to buy this space. I want to buy." If I'm getting shut out, I can't stay
And
here.
redlined,
Yeah, and
and
red line. Then
you
no,
know,
I can't. I don't want to build my
and
law firm up
sometimes
here.
it's better to go out, finish school, grow, establish yourself, establish who you are as an adult, establish who you want to be as a
Mm-hmm.
professional, then come back and contribute. But fresh out of college, you coming back in a learning phase.
And you
And
just
it's
gonna go
hard
back
to
into the
learn.
cycle.
And with the mindset, it's hard to learn
I
in
get
that
that.
phase. So
I
you
get
gotta
that.
go and grow.
I get
Then come
that.
back to be able to contribute and lead, or to try to make change, or to try to,
And Granny,
spread your wings.
I mean, you can speak to this because you actually lived this. You moved at a young age. You didn't come back to your small town until you were retired. Do you wish you would have came back sooner? Do you think that you would have been able to grow to the capacity or the level that you're at and raise your child to the capacity, the level that she's at in your small town?
Um, Circumstances really made me come back. I didn't come back just to come back, because had not the circumstances forced me to come back, I wouldn't have come back. But
Mm-hmm.
because I had relatives here, that's why I came back. But if the house hadn't burnt down and the hurricane hadn't tore the house up, I would be still in the city.
Well, why? When you're saying that your small town
Because
needs.
this is what I know.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school there. I went to college there,
Mm-hmm.
so I can contribute there.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying based off of where you were raised up?
Exactly. But
Okay.
it's just when I move here, I hear people saying they tell the kids don't come back.
Well, because it's
You
not
know
a lot
why
of
they
advantages.
say don't come back? Because I didn't necessarily tell my kids that, and I think people that have tried to establish themselves, or have found some own favor, or have been able to make some leadway, are not telling their kids that. But the people that have struggled, the
Mm-hmm.
people that have had hardship, the people that feel like the small town hasn't been good for them, they don't want their children to experience that same thing. And it's not just culturally us. I hear people from other cultures telling their kids when they go to school, don't come, go off and live, go off and have experiences. There's nothing here for young people to do in this small town. There's not a whole lot of opportunity or extracurricular activity or social things. So I don't think it's just culturally. I think that people want their children to travel and to experience and
life.
broaden their horizons and their thought process and their mindset. And once you've done that, yes, by all means, come home, and let's, because then you bring that back, and hopefully then we grow a little bit more. Then once you go and you grow and you bring that back, and we grow a little bit more. But if everybody comes back to the same thing that's existing and depend on the same jobs that
With
are
the
here
same mindset.
with the same mindset, where small towns would never grow.
When I was in college, met the African people, and their whole thing was get an education, go back home, send another one to get an education, and do whatever we're going to do over there. No one come to stay. It's already acknowledged that you're going to get an education, you're going to go back home, you're going to send the next one, the next brother, the next sister, whoever, to get their education, and we're going back home, and we're going to practice
I think
law.
that's changed a little bit.
We're going to practice.
And is that fair?
I don't know whether it's fair. I'm just saying, because and their kids, they're the same age I am at the time. We're all in college,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what they understand. Now, one other thing, when you start dating, a lot of things begin to change. One of my girlfriends started dating African, and he told her, you're going to have to get some type of job, some type of training, if you plan to go back to Africa with me, you just can't go back with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to contribute to society. You got to be able to have a career.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
don't
not
see
a
nothing
bad
wrong
thing.
with
Yeah,
that.
what's wrong
Yeah,
with that?
I don't see
Shit.
nothing wrong with that. But to think, I mean, when I think of nepotism, I do think that it shouldn't be forced on you. I would hate to have to go away to school, and the only thing that I'm really thinking about is now I got to go back home, put my sibling through school. Like, I feel like I should just want to give back to my family. Let's grow generational wealth because that's just what we should do, but it shouldn't be obligated of
I
me
don't think it's
to.
obligated.
I
I
don't think
I
think
it's
it's
get it.
obligated.
mindset.
It's
I think it's how
mindset. It's
you
not
come up. Just
obligated.
like you and I was kind of having this conversation earlier this week with the difference in generations and how naturally you see a need and you just do it because that's just how you've been raised, whereas others may not just identify a need. So if I've been raised that when I make it I help the next one, that's not an obligation to me. That's
Mm-mm.
just my mindset that I know that that's what I'm going to
Exactly.
do. When I moved to Texas, the girl that recruited me, she was Nigerian, but she said she had like 10, 12 siblings. But when one got out of the house and got their degree and got a job, the other one came over to the States, the youngest one or the next youngest one or whoever's next in line, so they can have exposure, so they can get a proper education, so they can go. And then that person bought the next one after they made it. And it wasn't out of obligation and it wasn't a struggle, but it was like we want to see everybody win.
Everybody
We want to
win.
see everybody succeed. But it was her mindset, and it was like second thought, second nature. It's like, and the
Yeah.
husband was on board too because they came from the same culture,
Same,
and this is
same
what we
culture.
do.
Even you.
I mean,
Now I don't know why Mama kept having all them babies.
that I mean,
That
that's what
part
I.
on the
That's the. We ain't got to go down that avenue. But yes, okay.
But that's their mindset, and I don't
So
think
do
that's
you all
nepotism.
think?
I think that's just culture and family dynamics, and that's what you know.
So when you all keep, because I'm hearing you all say Africans a lot, Nigerian. Do you all feel as though we don't have that sense as Americans to help each other, pull each other up, if it doesn't involve money? I guess
No, I don't
because
think that.
Americans are very selfish, unfortunately so, and it's all about. And I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying as a culture, it's a me,
Mhm.
me, 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 me. It's a
right.
culture, just get it how you can. This, and then unfortunately, other cultures and other countries seem like their struggle motivates them. Us, our struggle, we've arrived and we forgot we struggled and that somebody else may be struggling or how we got there. It's like all of a sudden we've arrived and I've got amnesia about how I got here, and I ain't trying to help nobody else. It's
Do
a
you think it's
mindset.
the
It's
crab in the
horrible.
barrel mentality?
A lot of it is not everybody. I think there are some people that genuinely want to help people, but it's greed and just selfishness.
Well, now
And we
people
don't
think
need
differently.
everything we have to survive. I
Right.
mean, it's just
Think
greed.
differently.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of people think that other people are obligated to educate them, to send them to school, to help them, when that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
You yourself have to be motivated to get these things and to go after them. It's not Uncle John, it's not Aunt Susie.
That's why I say I
You
don't
know.
think it's nepotism when you've worked hard, you put in your time, you paid your, and you've educated yourself. If you prepared yourself for the moment,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's nepotism. And I don't think that other cultures, when they're bringing, it's because they've shown some initiatives. They see this person know they on a job, but they ain't bringing them over here to clown and cut the fool because those that come over here just do that, they send them back home.
That's right.
We're not investing in that. Whereas we coddle each other. We say he gonna do better. We just gonna give him some time. He gonna get.
But even if he don't do better, we give him time, we'll still get a position. I think that's
I
where.
don't think we wouldn't still give him the
No,
position.
for sure he will. I mean, we've seen it several times. We've literally seen businesses where once the older person in the family passed, the business go down the drain.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because that person wasn't prepared to take over, but they still left it with them because that's their child. Who else I'm gonna leave it to?
Well, the child has to be motivated as well. Just because you're gonna inherit a business, if you don't put back into the business gonna fail anyway.
But why would you leave it to them knowing that they don't know?
Some people feel as if they're obligated to do this. I mean, it's my child. I knew a guy left his restaurant to his son. His son knew the business inside and out. and say he loved the business. But when he got the business, he said, well, we don't need all this. We don't need to put all these ingredients in here. And immediately, people can taste the difference in the food.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, you don't have to use as much. It's too expensive. That's his idea of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So, Raven, let me ask you then with nepotism in this question. And it was a family business, and you haven't really been involved in the business, but you're the last living relative,
Mm-hmm.
and you have had no interest in the business. You haven't been involved in the business, but the owner or whoever wants a successor, and they want to leave it to their last living relative. You think that's wrong, or would you accept that, or you think that it's nepotism, even though that wasn't your dream, you don't have any desire of the business, but it's a business opportunity? Would you? How would you approach that?
If it was being handed down to me,
Yeah.
if I genuinely felt as though this is something that if I learned it, I can probably sustain it. But if it was something I had no interest in, like if somebody left me a zoo, keep it. Like I don't like animals. I'm not gonna.
But it's already staffed. It's already functioning. It's fully going.
I mean, if
you
it's
don't have
something
to
where I
manage the
just have,
day-to-day.
if I don't have to manage the day to day and literally you just giving me the admin part of it, I can do that. But if literally you're handing me something, but I have to work the back end, I have to start
Go
from
in.
I don't want it. And I'm going to tell you I don't want it. Like, it's fine. I mean, if I can hire people to do it, but at the end of the day, I don't want to see something that has flourished into something beautiful go down the drain just because of egotistic reasons or greed. I know it'll make me money, but if I know I can't sustain it, then I don't want to do it. If somebody right now, if you decide to step down something, somebody said, here, you want this position? I would say no. I don't want your position. It would literally drive me crazy.
So let me ask you all this. Both of you, if you were CEO of a major company and you had a leadership role that would make a lucrative salary and everything, and you had a sister, friend, whoever, to apply for the role, then you had a complete stranger that was probably overqualified for the role, but your sister friend could do the role and you could train them up, they could be successful, this, that, and the other. Who would you give the role to?
I would go with who's ever best qualified for it.
Who would you give the role to?
That's a hard one for me.
I don't like really working with family, but I do believe in putting them in positions to win. I think that when it comes to business and money, family and friends, it just get a little sticky for me. And I think that that's just being realistic. So I know we probably can't work directly with each other, but I would love to put them in a position.
So you don't own the business. You're
Mhm.
just in a position to hire the person. So you're not the one that's paying them. Y'all work for a
I would
corporation,
still
but
go
you're
with
the
who's the most
hiring
qualified,
leader.
though.
Okay.
Now, if they are neck and neck with qualifications, then I'm hiring my friend, yeah. But if they blowing you out the water and I can see that they're going to take this and put it in to full blast, I'm sorry, girl. We going to find you another position in the company. I promise we got you on something else, but not this one.
Okay.
We got you, though.
Giselle?
That's hard for me, because a lot of nepo babies, I would call them. You all know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Just walk in and just take over, and
Yeah.
you can see the
Learn
change.
as they
yeah,
go.
learn as they go, and you can see the change in the business, and the change in the atmosphere.
And I don't think people respect that. Like, if I know that you don't even know the title,
And I got to train you.
I gotta train you. I don't even respect this no more, and I don't respect you really.
Why do you respect Einstein? Because, he was a scientist, he was smart, but his parents were scientists, and they were smart. So if his
But no,
parents
that's
had...
different,
No,
though.
if his
Yeah,
parents
because he
hadn't...
came up with inventions. He didn't just
No,
skate
no,
by.
They put him in a position for invention. They could have sent him to some other school. He didn't have to major in science. He didn't have to major in biology. He could have went a different
Well,
direction.
now I'm thinking you're talking about having the privilege to like raise
Privilege.
your
That's
yeah,
privilege.
that's
That's not
different.
nepotism.
Nepotism
That's
is
privilege.
nepotism. It can go almost anywhere.
I
But
don't
I
know.
mean, he was
Like,
a genius. He was qualified. He was skillful. He was. I mean, if he didn't have the IQ, he wouldn't have succeeded in those classes or those
yeah.
sciences things. He didn't have the IQ. He wouldn't have been innovative. He wouldn't. Have, so he had to have a gift to. They just watered the seed.
Yeah.
You know.
It's
Even
Just
like those
so,
parents.
yeah.
I forgot what school it was, but that just got blasted out a couple of years ago. Their kids were in the Ivy League schools in positions to win, but they were paying. They paid for the gym. They
Yeah.
paid for the dorms, and that's the only reason that their
The
child was
kids got
there.
into school.
But
Yeah.
then once they graduate with that degree, now all of a sudden you're more qualified than somebody else just because your parent paid for the gym. That's nepotism.
well,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Nah,
that's a whole
because
nother
you're not
thing.
even
Nepotism
smart enough to even
Nepotism
be
go a
here.
long ways. I'm telling you, it's very broad.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that is
And
true.
I don't mind nepotism. I really don't.
Have you all ever been put in a position to benefit from nepotism?
No.
I haven't.
Unfortunately, not. I think I've been shown some favor because God shows favor. I think I've been shown some favor, but I don't think it's necessarily been in man's hand.
You know, I think that just not intentionally, but I think that we all have benefited from nepotism. And I think just because we come from good stock, people know, people
By
can.
association affiliation,
Yeah,
I go with
and
you on
that's
that.
nepotism as well. It's like, well, I know your mama, and I know that she good people. So instead of hiring this person, I'm gonna put you in the position because I know.
haven't had that.
You never experienced
I
that?
haven't had that.
Not on
experience
a
to some
hiring.
degree.
I think some other opportunities. I don't think work wise,
Mm-hmm.
but I think in some other opportunities, it's like, oh, you're a member of XYZ, or oh, okay, you're Greek, or I know you're pastor. So I think in another form on another level, but for its employment, no.
Gotcha.
That's what's but association and affiliations, yes.
Have you all ever gotten something genuinely because you were qualified, but people just made it out to be nepotism?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think, and not even
Because in order for you to be qualified, in some people's eyes, you got to know somebody, or it's got to be a reason, or it can't be because of your hard work, because
Your
you got a
skill
brain. Yeah, it can't be because of that.
No, always what you know is who you know.
And
Yeah.
that's a true statement, and that's real, and
Yeah.
and it's not nothing really wrong with that either.
I'm all about
That's
not.
real.
nepotism.
There's nothing wrong with that either. So
when we were talking about like support and family support, and I know for me personally, like I said, I lean on my support. I've been raised with an amazing support system, and I don't really stray away from it. It doesn't make me feel bad that my people did what they had to do to make sure, the next generation good. Thank y'all.
yeah.
But I know that a lot of times I do so much on my own, and it's always just kind of passed off as it's because of this. It's because of that. You got to do this with your parents, or and I'm like, actually, I didn't even involve them. Like,
Right. And people take for granted too, when you have a strong support system, that it's hard being in the shadows of another strong person.
it
Can you
is.
imagine the pressure that's on Bronny, having to be in his father's shadow, having to live up to the expectation of King James? Would everybody think that maybe his skill set wasn't so good if King James's wasn't as good?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so everything he do in the NBA is automatically
Well,
gonna be classified as, because
It's not
that's
as good
LeBron's son.
and it's not as good as his daddy. Well,
Right.
It doesn't
So
matter what
that's
you do.
hard. That's like if you came and worked where I work, people would only think that you got the job because I was your mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care how many times you got promoted. I don't care how many success stories you have, how many wins you have. It will always be, well, you know
Okay.
that was Ursula's daughter. Well, she only
Yeah.
got hired because that was Ursula's daughter.
And
It
that
wa-
may not even be the case.
and that's not the case at all. It
Yeah.
would not be the case, exactly. So that's why I give the LeBron James and Bronny thing some grace too, because we would probably never be able to truly accept his full potential, because it's always comparing him to somebody.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I give it grace in that aspect because I know it is hard for Bronny. Now, we all know that he was a nepotism hire. I mean, so I think that is also the reason why he gets a lot of flack. But
a lot of football coaches,
I mean,
their kids
and that's the same for them.
the same thing,
It
and
is the
nobody
same.
says anything. Oh, his father used
But
to
you
coach
know,
But I
football.
media,
think he genuinely
media.
trying to work his behind off to earn his own, get
I
his
believe
own.
I
Yeah.
believe that too.
Yeah,
But
so-
I mean, when
Yeah.
it came to drafting, I don't think that he was ready to be drafted. That's all I'm saying. Like
I
it wasn't.
do.
If he wasn't LeBron James, I don't feel like he would have been drafted. But just because it's not media blast with other athletes, do you think that the team respects this person? They just
Yeah.
walked on your
And I think there are some people that are really willing
And
to
they want
help
to pour into him.
and want
yeah.
pour into it. They want to see this.
Well, let's talk about some of the cons of nepotism. And just in general, with support, nepotism, everything, it limits opportunities for others, some who may even be more qualified just because, you're related or you have the opportunity. Because some people don't get the chance to just walk through those doors. They have to work to get to that position, to get in the room. And then once they finally get in the room, you're sitting next to the VP son and you already know this is going to him.
But you already know, I was going to say, but some people limit themselves because in mindset, you think you already know. Some people are come in the room and notice the person's son and don't even apply
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to automatically assume it's the assumption that, well, that's their son position or that's their friend position or that's, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen. We post a lot of positions get posted in business and they already know they have an internal candidate, but they have to post it and be up there for a certain amount of days before they announce the hire. But they already know who they're going to hire. They already know who they're going to promote. They already know they're going to move up. But you have to make it open for everybody else.
I think that when it comes to that, I get that having to post it and have people apply, but it really infuriates me when you actually interview people. That pisses me off. I'm sorry.
But in that interview process, I've been in positions too where we was like, okay, well, we got to post it for 3 days, but we know we're going to do this. And then in the interview process, somebody blow us away and be like, okay, we either got to create 2 positions or we got to rethink this because so you're interviewing people that you're interested in still or that you feel like have a certain skill set. Most time you ain't interviewing just to be interviewing.
Well, how often does that happen?
It happens a lot, actually. In the medical field, it happens a lot. I can't speak for anything else. And I think sometimes, too, the interview is that I didn't know you were interested in growing. Let me see what your mindset is. Even if this position might not be available for you, let's talk this through. Let me see what your goals are, what you want to be, because you and I've never had this conversation. And then you up and
But I feel
apply
like
for
that's
this
internal
job.
candidates.
Yeah.
We're
Right. That's
talking
what I'm
about
saying.
people external who applying for this position and y'all interviewing them, knowing that you're already doing an internal hire.
But if
And
your
then not one
resume is-
interview, call you in for a second one. And then a third one.
Well, that means that you were impressive.
That don't mean that.
Yes, I'm telling you, because that second and third interview is not mandatory.
And it's not
But
necessary.
it means that you were impressive,
Yeah.
and I'm
Maybe I got
on the
something
fence.
else
I'm
for you.
tendering about this, and I'm thinking, where else could we use you? And we don't want to
Mhm.
lose you. You would be an asset to our
To the company.
organization or our company.
But not
We should
everybody.
feel honored.
We
Not
don't when
every-
we don't get the job. Nobody feel honored by that. And I think that a lot of people be like, well, why millennials and the Gen X and all of that don't care about that? Because y'all play too many games. That's too
not
much.
playing games. That's part
That's
of the
too
process.
much.
It's all part of the process. You're not going
What
to
you
get every
finna say,
job that you
Randy?
interview for.
I was going to say not every parent or association would do nepotism, particularly if they know you're not going to be good at what they need done.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people are really sincere about their business. They want it to strive, and they're not just going to put you there because you're next in line with the family.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
What about the
it's
family
like-
feuds that causes though?
It may cause some few, but if you're really sincere and you just know they can't do it, they're not going to leave it to you. They just assume to go ahead and sell it.
Do you all think that that's why, like, a lot of our community lacks generational wealth? Because they don't build up for the next generation. They just, for self right
Every
now.
generation
and
starts
then-
from ground zero.
It's not funny.
It's not funny, but it's true. It's sad, but it's true. And hopefully it changes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
Very sad, but it's true. It's unfortunate. And some of it's just because you weren't taught. Some of it, and you see it all
I
the
think it's
time.
just selfish.
Culturally, it's selfish, but you see it all the
Really?
time. And sometimes we get so caught up working that you haven't planted those seeds or laid the groundwork for your successor too. And we can use politics as a different that. No one really has a successor. Why? With all the politics that's going on in the world, all the politics, and you see the age of the candidates, this, that, and the other. Why there's nobody standing in the shadows ready to step up, and
That's
say,
not
"I'm
always the
next."
case now. A
That's
lot of
the current state that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Cause we're so busy that we're not training our successors. We're so busy that even with your children, when we get these businesses and we get busy, and we're just trying to make things work. And I don't think it's intentional, but I think at some point we forget to bring them in. It's just we want to send them to the best schools. We want to make sure they have everything that we didn't have. We're going to make sure they get their car at 16. We're going to make sure, but we never instill that work ethic part or make sure that they're able to carry on the business, or they're able to balance a checkbook, or they're able to count this money, or able to figure out these QuickBooks. We're depending on them to go to school and learn that. But school can't teach you the operations and the day-to-day practical skills that we need to sustain our family business.
I can agree with that. Miss L, like you got something on your mind.
well, you take the Kennedy family, you know, he raised those boys to be senators and president. When President Kennedy, before he was even nominated, his father told the brothers, you call him President Kennedy, because he's going to be president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Which he turned out he was president, you know. And that's standing in the shadow. I mean, even Bush, his father put him in a position for him to be president.
Well, I've been telling y'all for years, since I was a child, call me princess. I could have been Meghan Markle.
Oh, shit.
Why Mega just be Princess Raven
from the damn Princess and the Frog.
Whoa.
And you are
But-
princess to
And you
us.
are princess
thank
to
you, thank
us.
you,
That's
thank
what I was
you.
gonna say. You're a royalty, a child of the king, child. You are princess. I've been telling you that forever too.
Yeah, no.
So that you are.
I'm
You
talking
are.
about define the money. No, but I do think it does have to be instilled in you.
You got to
Granny.
speak it into existence.
Yeah, you do. You do.
But sometimes we're so busy learning that we don't have time to teach.
I think it's. I'm not
That's
gonna
what
say
I'm saying.
selfish, but at the same time, I think that it's really the nature of not wanting to think about when you're gone. And we have to really like key into the fact, into the knowledge that everybody has a time. That's the only thing that's inevitable in life. Everybody gonna pass.
And some people are really selfish, like you say. They want it to go apart. They want to destroy
Yeah,
when
I
they
believe
leave.
that
Some
too.
people want it to end with them,
I believe that.
and that's a very selfish thing. you
And
know.
some people truly believe that you have to start from ground zero in order to
Appreciate it, huh?
make it count. If not, it's
You
discredited.
won't value it. Huh?
Exactly. That's kind of like with
That's
family
bad
support
mentality.
when
That's
you know a lot
bad
of people put their
mentality.
kids out at 18. They just feel like, okay, I had to do it. Now it's time for you to go learn life. And yeah.
Some swim and some don't.
You say what?
Some of them swim and some of them don't. Some of them
Yeah.
Sink.
Yeah, some of them just sink. You know, they're not ready.
That's crazy to
You
me,
know.
though.
It's
Yeah, that's-
But to
unfortunate.
each his own. You know,
Each his
different
own,
family
each his
dynamics,
own.
different values,
Mhm.
different. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But to sum it up for me, I think that if you're able to help someone, if you're able to put someone in a position to succeed and they're qualified and they're capable, it's called favor and grace for me. I think that God put you in the position to help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in that position and you're using it for good, and you pray that for good decision making and that you're doing things for the right reason and that person is qualified, I don't see anything wrong with the nepotism. Now, if you hire them and they unqualified, then when the chips fall, they have to fall with their man. You go down with them. But
I agree. I'm with the qualified candidates.
yes,
The
it's
unqualified.
nothing like a little favor.
I
That's
honestly, unqualified, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice. Then you want to help someone, but then you're also limiting yourself and pretty much setting everything up for destruction.
Michelle, you was talking about coming back to these small towns. This small town is all about nepotism and favor.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in these small towns is about who you know, who you're affiliated with, who you're associated with, what school you went to,
Were you born here?
right?
Even if you were raised here, but you were not born here.
and that's across
That's
all
different.
cultures. That's regardless if you grew up over here on the east side of town, west side of town, north, south. That's in every culture and every environment. I've experienced this in this little small town. It's about who you know, where you went to school, who you went to school with, and they treat the children like that are in school. The teachers want to know if they don't know your parents, then you get treated a little different than the parents that they do know. If and professionally, what school they went to, it matters.
I
And
agree.
it's crazy.
I agree.
It's crazy, but it's
I
true.
agree.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right. I think that pretty much sums it up.
Is this a wrap?
I believe
I
so.
think this
All
is
right.
a wrap. Nepotism, good, bad, or indifferent. It is what it is, and it's not always a bad thing, in my opinion.
Not is it in mine.
It could
God's
be.
favor.
It could
Godspeed,
be.
not always. Yeah.
Well, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We would love to hear your opinion on the topic. Drop them in the comment below. And remember to subscribe.
Until next time,
Ta-ta.
peace.